live? I think we're live. Yeah, I think we're live. All right, bet. Perfect. What's going on, family? What is going on? Wow, that happened quick. I just turned it on. Y'all really not playing tonight. So, babe, I need you to, while everybody's coming in, I'm gonna give everybody a little chance to come in real quick, and then we're gonna kick this off. Y'all forgive me for looking up because I'm making sure and I'm monitoring that, everything is in focus. Forgive me, I'm a little nervous because it's the first time, like, wifey let me run this thing.
It's okay. Listen, I'm not a part of this, y'all. So this is all him. I am here for guidance. I look a mess. This is my after hours look. So y'all go ahead, be gentle, be easy. But he's here. He's been nervous. He's literally been getting prepared since 4 o'clock this afternoon?
Yeah. Because it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. He takes this seriously, making sure that he's, guiding y'all and giving y'all the best advice and answers. So,
yeah.
Y'all be nice. I'm over here on my phone if y'all need me. Love you.
Come here. Listen.
What are we doing?
This is a big deal. Y'all. I keep looking up here. Y'all. Wifey made it to round 3.
Oh my God.
She made it to round 3 of Miss Health and Fitness. You're officially in the top 15 out of, I don't know how many people applied, but this little black girl, all right. Well,
I'm the only one left.
This black woman.
I'm the only one left.
Is the only one in
left.
the top 15 for Miss Health and Fitness. Today finally kicked off round 3. So listen, at this point, we need y'all to just flood it, to run it up. This is an opportunity for a black woman to headline Miss Health and Fitness on the cover. All right? This is a big deal, to me at least. So if it's this big of a deal to you, then please go to our link in the bio after this. If you haven't already gotten a chance, you can still vote. A lot of people, they stay away from voting because they're like, oh, it's either going to take too long or I got to pay for it. Yes, you can pay. And we actually need cash payers because the people that's in now they just kind of running it up. So we need y'all help. This is the only time that we solicit right now for anything. But it is free. It is a free vote. You go on the link in the bio. It connects to your Facebook and you can vote every day. All right. So we finna run it up and I'm gonna flood y'all. So all of the promo you gonna see is from me. All right. But congratulations, babe. I'm so proud of you, girl.
I'm going back to my hole, y'all.
Go back to your hole. We got to get to business anyway. All right, so the way that this is set up, if this is your first time joining in, well, this is the first live that I've done for this topic. But if you haven't seen why we're here, why we're live right now, it's because about 2 days ago, 48 hours ago, I dropped a video saying, ask a man if there's ever a situation that comes up where you just need to ask a man. I'm extending the olive branch, hence the name for this live right now. So, over the past 48 hours, y'all ran it up because I posted on Instagram and we posted on Facebook, and amongst our 300,000+ followers, thank you guys for that. I didn't know what I was stepping into. I didn't know what I was extending. I gave y'all the olive branch and y'all took the whole damn tree. Y'all took the whole forest. So it's all good because that means that y'all actually have some content that we need to focus on. We created this platform to be examples, and me and my wife, we call it vessels. We stood in agreement to be vessels for people that go through our same situations or similar situations. So whether you're in a situationship, you in a relationship, you single, you in a long-term marriage, you can find something in here tonight based on some of the questions that I'm going to be answering. I'm only giving y'all 5. Y'all can see that I got some of it up. Please don't judge me for my man handwriting, okay? You get the gist of it, and I'm going to read it out loud to you as well. So I'm going to give you 5 questions that I came up on that I feel like I can, give my best advice on. And you may not be going through that same situation, but it may be a similar situation that may give you insight for how you can move about it. And this isn't just for women. The only reason that I'm on here is because, to be honest, we needed more of a male presence, and I have a lot to say, and I want to make sure that we're using our leverage in the correct manner rather than just trying to be these social media influencers. No, we actually out here to serve a purpose. So if this is what we're called to do, this is my service, and I don't mind doing that because we've been through the ringer. When I tell you we done been through it, currently we're both 31 right now, and we've been knowing each other since 14. No, we haven't been dating since 14, but what it's shown us is all of the development years, through our relationship, through our friendship, through so many situations, college, after college, being separate. We did long-term relationship. The only thing that it didn't come up out of this is another baby with anybody else.
Because you know better.
Yes, I know better, babe.
Because you know better.
So if you're gonna be in here,
I'm sorry.
If you're gonna be in here, I'll tap you in.
I love you. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm working.
All right. So let's go ahead and get this started. For the people that's still in here, y'all gonna rock with me for about like the next 20 to 30 minutes. And again, if you gotta go, I get it. I'm gonna have a replay up for people that missed it because some of y'all questions in here are some of the people that's watching. So with this first one, if you can see that, I know it's a little blurry, but it says, was premarital counseling helpful, or did you just do it so that you can say that you did? All right, so to answer this question here, I need y'all to understand, again, we've been knowing each other for so long that by the time it came around to us having to go get premarital counseling, it was something that we wanted to explore because we wanted to know what questions were we not asking, and what things that we need to look forward to in our marriage that we didn't know that we needed to, chart. So for us, it was kind of like checking off a box at first to say that we just did it. Thank God it was, friends of the family, and they also had experienced a long-term relationship like we did. They experienced infidelity in their marriage. They wrote a book about it. So, we trusted them to help guide us when we first started. And to be honest, all we remember is that it was a great conversation and that we needed to own our slice of the pie. So when I say that, it means that in any situation, now this is something that you can apply to anything that you're going through right now. All right. We adults in here, majority of us are adults in here. So owning your slice of the pie means taking accountability. And when we, zoomed out from situations, whenever we got in altercations, even if the other was predominantly right, we still didn't necessarily find fault, but we found where we could have possibly went wrong, went left, or made an error. You know what I mean? So for us, it kind of just became second nature in our altercations, where it was like kind of like a paradigm shift. Literally in the middle of our conversations, our altercations now, we own our slice of the pie. Like, babe, she'll say something or do something. It may be a heightened conversation, and then she'll come back in the middle of that, like, you know what? I'm sorry. That wasn't even you. It wasn't even about you. It was because of blah, blah, blah that happened during the day, and I took it out on you. But a lot of times, because we're not mindful or we're not aware of what's going on, we just allow our filters to protrude onto everybody around us rather than owning our slice of the pie. You get what I'm saying? So in short, take accountability. Take accountability. I hear a lot of people that responded, and it was very him. He does this, or she does this, she does that. And I never saw in any of the responses or the questions that were asked, and well, I know that I can be like this. I know that I'm an alpha male, or I know that I'm an alpha female, and I know that I can talk to him and make him feel small sometimes. But why is it that blah, blah, blah? You know what I mean? I didn't see any of that. And I'm not expecting you to, because you are trying to get to the root of your situation, but it's to shed light on the fact that there's two people in a relationship, and you two have to come together and find some type of common ground, and it helps your partner, especially men. We don't process as fast as y'all women. I don't care what type of man you are. I don't care where you're from. You may be a little bit quicker, bro, but you're not quicker than these women. Their intuition is just, it's like that. They process they process things differently. They're literally wired like that. We're left brain, they're right brain. So they approach situations with emotion a lot of times. And if you're so analytical, you'll miss the fact that you need to just be present in a moment and listen. So take accountability in the fact that you may not listen, bro. You may just be sitting there trying to get back to the game, not realizing that she's having a moment and she's expressing to you, what happened during her day, and you missed it because you're trying to rush it. It's little things like that that can fester. And we've, of course, been down all of these roads to be able to attest to the fact that those are those little nuances that you have to be mindful of and be aware of. So I hope that answered that question. On y'all slice of the pie, guys. Please take accountability in your relationship. Even if you can't find something, be open and be mindful that, you're trying. Always stay aware of your behavior and your attitudes. All right, so next one. Whew. All right.
You got this.
That's why we're doing live. If y'all getting some out of this already, go ahead and drop some ones in the chat. I remember going live back when I was doing my trainings, but I got to make sure that the vibes are high, like, because I feel good. So if y'all are too, and if y'all are getting something, I need to know that, the engagement is there. Drop some ones in the chat, and we're going to keep going. All right, number 2. Why do men court women with flawless qualities, then fall off in a relationship? So I had to kind of summarize this because this was a long question. Pretty much, she was upset because he gave 110% during the dating phase, during the courting phase. If you're not familiar with courting, my brother-in-law did it. I don't know how he did it, but they went about a year. They courted for about a year. They didn't even kiss until the pastor said, "You may now kiss your wife." So that pretty much was the situation with her. She said, he courted me, great communication, wrote poems, the whole nine. How men, we know how we can wine and dine. So that's pretty much what it was. He wined and dined her, and then once they settled, he just fell off. It stopped. The communication stopped. All of the things that he did to get her just fell off, and that bothered her, as anybody would be bothered for that. I would be bothered, especially. So why do men do that? God, I feel like Steve Harvey. So when it comes to men, especially in relationships, men that aren't necessarily ready to commit, this is my take. I can't speak for all men. I can only speak for what I've seen in men, the patterns, especially in this generation. They're very predictable, and I've experienced my own situations where I wined and dined a female and created false beliefs. So I'll own that slice of the pie, and I'll take accountability for that. And if there are any exes watching, then I do deeply apologize for that, because I was in a mindset of just trying to accomplish the goal. So the whole gist of it is, men, we try to just get to that one goal. It may just be trying to sleep with you, or it may be trying to get you to a point where you're vulnerable. And once they reach that point with you, then they kind of fall off because they didn't make those long-term goals. With me, I didn't make those long-term goals initially because we were so young. It was just an infatuation at first, and then friendship, and then it just kind of blossomed over time. But it never was like this preconceived plan of, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to wine and dine her, then I'm going to marry her, then I'm going to have kids with her, and then I'm going to make sure that she's happy for the rest of, I did not walk that through. All right. And most men don't. Now, being a more mature male, now, if I was single and dating, I would have those long-term plans, but most men don't. We live in an instant noodle gratification world. They want to pop it in the oven. They want to take you on a date a couple times and get you to that point where you say that you're ready to settle down, but in the back of their head, they were just so goal-oriented to get you to that place where you're like, my walls are down, my guard is down, he has me. And at that point, it doesn't seem like a chase anymore. I I'm very confident that that is the answer, because we're very competition based, especially if you a baddie. If you a baddie and we know that we got you wide open, you texting us, you calling us, you acting crazy, that kind of feeds our ego. And we especially don't see it through after that, because it's like, if I got a baddie to that point, I can continue to do it again. So it kind of goes into, you got to know that person a little bit more before you let your guard down that much, and before you become that vulnerable. I wouldn't become that vulnerable with somebody until you know that you are both on the same page in different ways, not just physically, but spiritually, mentally, and physically. It's an alignment. The same way that you require an alignment for yourself, you can tell if another person is aligned. And when you guys both bring that together, you able to tell, like, this is gonna be a long-term thing, and you're not so caught up in the fact that somebody is infatuated or they're just trying to wine and dine you. So you gotta be a little bit vigilant to notice those cues. But for me, the answer to this question, why people fall off, or why men fall off after they wine and dine you and they get you to a point of a relationship or vulnerability, is because they've reached their goal. They've gotten what they needed out of that period of time, that era of time. Men, we go get the bag, we go get this, boom, 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 and we move on. So you just got to know that person a little bit more. I hope that helped with that question. Let's move on. That's number 2. I'm giving y'all 5 of them. And there was a lot of y'all that asked me questions in the DMs that I may have to go in there and just kind of take my time and answer you privately, rather than displaying it like this, because they're very personal. I got a lot of very personal questions that I'll rather address privately. But these questions that we're answering tonight should help for the broad spectrum, right? I'm gonna take a drink real quick. I hope y'all getting something.
You're doing so good, babe.
Thank you. It's my biggest fan right here. It's my biggest fan. She in the back. And again, for everybody that's joining in, wifey made the 3rd round.
Oh my God.
I'm saying it because it just happened tonight. She finally made the 3rd round of the Miss Health and Fitness. So please go vote. Please go vote, because if we get this black woman on Miss Health and Fitness, that can catapult her to God knows what. So
Nike.
Yes.
We're heading for Nike.
We're headed for Nike, yes. To be honest, you throwing it out there.
That's the goal, is to get to Nike.
So if you got a Nike connect, hit me up. All right, 3rd question. How can a man be confident that he has found the right woman? All right, so this is for my fellas. This came from a man, yeah. I'm trying to remember the message because it was a long one, and this was pretty much how he concluded. I can't speak for every man, because what you're looking for, bro, may be completely left than what I'm looking for. I knew that me and my wife were supposed to be together back in like 10th grade. I didn't know the capacity of it, but I did tell her I'm taking that virginity. She was the Virgin Mary in the school. At that point, that was at the top of my brain. But on top of that, it was more than that. I was like, I want a deeper connection with her, but I didn't know how to express that besides saying, like, I want your virginity. And it worked. Thank God. But, as time went on, and we matured, I found more value in the fact that we were connected, just from off of commonalities that I've never experienced with any of my exes. We met in a music class. At that time, I was rapping or aspiring to be a rapper. Also, I was a graphic designer. So we had a lot of commonalities in that fact. We also had mad classes together back in high school. So we just got to be around each other and feed off of each other in that respect. And then going to college, we just went through the ringer. To be honest, this was like a divine ordination of people to get to this point. I'm really realizing that all of this was for this reason, so that we can use a platform to help others. But for me, what really set in, to be honest, is crazy. And don't take this wrong, babe. But I feel like the last part of my my attraction to you, I'm talking to you, but talking to her. My last unlocking of I'm fully committed was like a couple months ago. It may have been about a year now, where we had a conversation about our spirituality. And we've never done that. We just were so cool for so long. And we saw that, okay, you're a pastor's kid. Like, well, she being the pastor's kid. And I went to church, the traditional, church. You grow up in a black home, you're going to go to church. You're going to do and praise the Lord in his house as we're told to, right? So we just knew that about each other. And that was good enough spiritual talk for us. And we recently unlocked a part of our marriage where we got aligned spiritually. And that for me was like, okay, I'm all the way in. And I already knew like I was all the way in. It didn't have anything to do with the kids. A lot of people say like, oh, y'all had kids together, that's why you stayed when she was big bone, or that's why you stayed when she was in her unhealthy weight. No, it had nothing to do with that. I'll tell you any day, she just had a fat suit on. So what you see now is what I saw the whole time. So I was already all in, but it was like a divine confirmation, if you will, where we had our spiritual conversation and we aligned. And now it's just like freaking friend. Like, we finish each other's sentences. It's kind of disgusting, but I love it. I love it. So for me, what I want out of a woman is going to be completely different than what you want. But what I will say is you have to find what it is that that gives you like an internal satisfaction. Because for men, it takes a lot. We build up a lot of barriers. I'm a 90s kid coming from a 90s era. There's a lot of programs that happen unconsciously with us. And especially for men, I couldn't imagine being a 30-year-old single man right now, because it's a lot going on out here. But spiritually for me, that was the thing that internally unlocked like my full commitment. It unlocked my attraction at a whole nother level. Like, I'm spiritually connected, I'm spiritually attracted, and that trumps anything in this physical world. And if you know what I mean, if you tapped in like that, then you understand like that is a sexy thing. When we can have those conversations, we can go below the surface. Like, everything is so general, and it's not like every day isn't the same. You know what I mean? So you have to find what it is for you, bro. And I know that's kind of vague, but I can't answer for all men. I can't, because we all have different things that we're attracted to. But yeah, like, Britnee opened up all my chakras.
So can I say, there's a quote that I think I posted. It says, men settle where there is peace. I'll just come over there.
Okay, come on in.
It says, men settle where there is peace. Women bring peace where they're treated well. It takes effort on both sides to make it work. So I think a lot of times men, and I can't speak for a man because I'm not a man, I'm a woman. Mm-hmm. But I think that the confidence for a man comes in knowing that there will be peace within that relationship with that woman. And I think that is the key to really allowing a man to feel confident in you and about you and not play about you, is when he knows that he has anchored peace inside of you.
Yeah.
And I can say that I saw a transition. We had that commonality of understanding, God and all of that. But when we had that really deep spiritual connection, I think that was a clicking and a turning point for us both, and within our marriage and within our relationship and our friendship, because we were able to break down barriers. And from then, we literally started unlocking everything.
Yeah.
We started being vulnerable with each other in ways that we were never vulnerable before. We started healing childhood traumas. Like, we unlocked childhood traumas for him that he didn't even know that he had, just because we had time to really sit and meditate together and pray together and talk together and just be like, no, this is how I really feel.
Yeah.
Like, and if he needed to cry, he cried. Like, but he felt safe. And I think a man feeling safe with you as a woman is the most vulnerable thing. But women, this is my last tip, and I'm gonna go back to my home. Y'all have to understand that men test us. And I think I've said this before, but men test us. And they test us in ways that we don't know that they're testing us. So they'll be like, babe, come here real quick. And you'll be in the middle of doing something. And you'll be like, what do you want? What do you want? That was a test. And you didn't think it was a test because he's always asking you, babe, come here real quick. Right. Y'all are. Thank you for owning that.
Yeah, we
but they'll ask you, you know, that quick question like, babe, come here. And it's just to, and they don't care that you're on your period. They don't care. And it's not because they're trying you, but it's to see when she's off guard, how does she respond to me versus react, or react versus respond? And it's in those moments where he's just trying to take an inventory and a survey to see where you are at different checkpoints in your day. Like, how are you going to present yourself to him? Are you going to be peaceful first before you become rah-rah? And some men, they will literally leave a good thing because you don't lead with peace.
Yeah.
And the fact that this man stayed for 12 years and I just got on this peaceful tip 2 years ago, that's a good man. And that's why y'all can't have them. Y'all can't have him because he's a good man, okay? He understands the assignment, and I understood that I needed to get on board with the assignment because peace is literally the root to men. They need to know that you will be their peace. Their peace of booty, but their peace of mind, okay? That's it. I'm out. Yeah. I got emails to look at, okay?
No, that's really good, though. I feel safe with her in a way that I've never felt safe with another individual. Not even my own family sometimes. And I'll be honest with you, it's just because she's my landing place. Like, I can bring anything to her, and she's the responder now and not the reactor. And women, again, let's be adults. Y'all have to take ownership in the fact that you're emotional creatures. So you have to work double time to manage those emotions. Yes, you can have intellect. Your IQ can be high, but what is your EQ? That emotional intelligence is just as important. And we all have to do a better job of just reacting, period. This world would be a better place if we just responded. But on to the next. Y'all forgive my handwriting, Jesus. All right. This one, met someone amazing. What questions should I be asking? Ooh, dang. So this came from a young lady. I want to say.
What is your eggplant size? That's a
What
good
is your
question.
eggplant size?
What is your eggplant size? I'm just playing.
Don't ask that because you're gonna be mad if he say 2 inches.
No, that man gonna whip it out. Don't try no man like that. He'll whip that thing out right there on the. I would. Try me. Anyway, what question should I be asking? I remember writing this one down, and I have the answer. Don't go into it with any expectations, to a degree, because what you're looking for is just y'all need to test the waters. When you go in there with expectations of, oh, if he doesn't answer it like this, or if she doesn't answer my question like this, I'm out. A lot of us give up before we even start. If me and Britnee did that, y'all wouldn't be on this live right now. I don't even know how I'm still here with this woman, to be honest. But because had it been off questions rather than behavior, I would have been out of there at the time that, we were dating. But I would say just go into like a first date, or just kind of let things flow. You'll know what questions to ask. Okay. I can't speak for anybody else. But I do know that if I was in that situation, I wouldn't go into it like, now there are some things that, I'm not looking for sure. Like, you come in there presenting yourself in a way where I don't agree with, then I may not call off the whole thing, but I may address it like, you're real comfortable tonight. What made you make that decision? And that's the question that I would lead with, rather than going in there like, what's your job? What's your occupation? How many kids do you have? And everybody's looking for something different. So I understand the severity of, asking the right questions, but you can't rush a good thing. You can't. This world unfolds, this universe unfolds, God unfolds how it wants to. All right. So you can't force anything. There is no perfect person. We are made flawed. All right. Everybody's going to have something. They're going to have tics. They're going to have quirks and nuances that you're going to disagree with. But what I like to tell everybody is it still, I'm a trader. I'm a day trader. So I use the word bearish and bullish. Like, is that person bearish or are they bullish? Like, are there more pros than cons? Bullish being up, bearish being down. Like, you went on a date, yeah, they was eating a little crazy, you know, they wasn't using their napkin right, or, you know, they came dressed a little inappropriate, but we had great conversation, or, you know, we went to a really nice place that I want to go back with that person again for. So drop the expectations. That's, I guess, my best advice for that. If that's not the answer that you're looking for, I understand you may want to go ask somebody else, but from this man, I would say just drop the expectations, because there's so much about a person that you don't know until, like, you just kind of live with them. So just go with the flow.
I got one question.
Okay.
That can be asked. I guess I gotta come.
Yeah, you gotta come back in.
I'm sorry.
What, add your 2 cents?
No, cause the only reason why is because I had a friend ask me this very, very similar question, and she was going speed dating, and she was like, you know, I don't want your relationship, but I want the peace and the love that you and your husband share, or, you know, similar. So she asked, what questions can I ask? And one of the questions that I think resonated with her was, what is your communication style? Are you more of a reactor, or are you more of a responder? And there's no right or wrong answer. But with that, you will know how to govern yourself, or how your relationship is going to be governed moving forward. And some men are reactors, and that will tell you many, many things. If his answer is, I'm a reactor, you know, I can respond, but my initial thing, just being real, is a reactor. That'll tell you a few things. That'll tell you he's still healing. That'll tell you that he possibly has baggage. That'll tell you that he has anger issues. That will tell you that he is not in tune with his emotions. He's not emotionally intelligent. Yeah. That will tell you that he has not come from a home or an environment that literally leads with peace or understanding. And if he's a responder, that will tell you that he's patient. That will tell you that he's understanding. That will tell you that he understands that he can lead with fact rather than emotion, meaning that he will hear you and understand you and see you rather than just going based off of, you know, how he feels his filter. And that's what reacting does. When somebody reacts to you, that means that they're coming from their filter. They're not even hearing you. Yeah. They heard nothing that you said. They were not trying to understand you. They were literally reacting based off of their filter. Because if I'm coming to you just asking you a basic question and you explode at me, that lets me know that you didn't even hear what I said. Yeah. Because all I asked you was, did you put the trash bag in the trash can? Nah, nigga, you did. First of all, lower your voice. First of all. Second of all, I just asked you a very basic question, and the fact that you're exploding at me lets me know that you are responding to me from a filter. Maybe your ex asked you that question and she was barking at you and you just carried that, and it's festering, and now you're exploding and vomiting on me. First of all, that has nothing to do with me. Yeah. Heal. Go and heal. But that lets you know what you're dealing with, and then you as the woman can decide, do I want to take on this challenge or this adventure of unpeeling his layers because I see something in him, versus no. Yeah. Swipe left.
That may be a big no for a lot of people.
Right. And for me, it wasn't. For me, it wasn't a deal breaker because he had layers. He had layers upon layers. And even within our marriage, I still had to unpeel those layers. And I was willing to take on that challenge. Even through college, when people were telling me I was crazy, they're like, Britnee, he literally broke up with you to go soil his royal oats with other women, and you're still sitting here. And I said, listen, this sounds crazy. And we agree, both of us, all the time. It sounds crazy, but it worked for us. We understood the assignment. Yeah. From 10th grade. From 10th grade, we had an understanding that we didn't say these exact words, but we were connected enough to have the same exact understanding that we both, still to this day, if you put us in separate rooms, we would tell you the same exact thing. Our understanding was this: I love you, you love me. We know that our end goal is to be together for eternity, but right now is a no. Yeah. Right now, I'm not ready. Right now, I'm not committed to you as a woman or a girl becoming a woman, and you are not committed to me as a boy becoming a man. And we just have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with me seeing other people. I got to be okay with you seeing other people until we come back together. Yeah. And that's what we did. We saw other people. I was head over heels for a whole nother guy. He never been head over heels for nobody else. But he was involved in other relationships, soiled his royal oats with other women. I didn't. I kept my goodies to myself. But we made decisions, and we still chemistry, love, universe, God, source, whatever you want to call your higher being, always brought us back together. And that's how we knew, okay, this is a forever thing, but it's just not right now thing. And you have to make that decision based on that question. Like, how is your communication style? Like, are you healing? Are you healed?
Yeah.
Do I need to call your mama? Like, I need some concrete things to be able to know if I'm prepared to deal with what kind of man you are, knowing what I know about myself as a woman, knowing my baggage, knowing my errors, knowing my weaknesses, my strengths, everything about me. Can I mesh with you, or is it going to cause us to butt heads? Because we're grown, y'all. Most of us are ready to settle down, or trying to maneuver within our settle down relationship.
Yeah.
And we don't have time to be playing games. Like, either you're healed or healing, and more so closer to the heal part, because we're grown. Ain't nobody got time for that. All of us that were born in the 90s, and I'm not talking about 94, y'all don't count. I'm talking about 90, I'm dead serious. Y'all don't count.
Anything pre-2000, I think that
Period.
you're good.
No. 90 to 92, 93, yeah. But 90s babies, we got the brute of childhood trauma. And I don't care if either of our sets of parents are watching. Y'all scarred us. Y'all's generation scarred us. And I love y'all to death. And it's no bad blood, no issues. But y'all's generation scarred us to death, rightfully so. Your parents came out of an era where it was very, very, very close to slavery.
Yeah.
Slavery, very, very close to segregation. And I understand. We understand our parents. They just are not committed to understanding us. And because of that, we have a lot. We have a lot to bring to the table in a relationship style. And some people are not willing to deal with that. That's why you have cougars out here. That's why you have people that are in their 30s dating people in their 60s, because we don't have time. Like, we don't have time to be dealing with some things, because all of us have different triggers, all of us have different traumas, all of us came from different backgrounds, you know, and when you put those two traumas together, it's like, bro, we need to go sit down and watch Nickelodeon to heal, because what is this? Like,
You said something
as
far as the healed or healing. I think that would be a good question. Along with the do you respond or do you react? Yeah.
Some people don't know if they're healed or healing until you hit a trigger and you're like, ooh.
True. But you got to throw it out there. Like, if I was just beating somebody, that would be a fun question for me. Like, are you healed or are you healing? And most people are going to be like, what do you mean by that? Because everybody's definition of healed and healing are completely different. Mm-hmm. So y'all can open up that dialogue with that. And that will tell you a lot about that person without them having to roll down their stats, their occupation, and things like that. Like, you want to get to the meat of it. Those are two good questions. Are you healed or are you healing? And do you react or do you respond? And y'all can add to it as you see fit.
Okay, bye. Bye for real, y'all. Because I look a mess and y'all ain't finna keep judging me, okay?
I ain't judging you, baby.
I don't have no filters on live.
All right, last question. And same can be said with do you respond or do you react? Yeah, for sure. All right, last one. Your wife said she was very toxic before surgery. How did you perceive her as toxic, and what made you stay? Dun dun dun. Toxicity is
I didn't even hear the question.
I'll read it one more time, because you may want to jump in again. Don't mind my wife. All right, your wife said she was very toxic before surgery. How did you perceive her as toxic, and what made you stay?
The coochie. Big.
Can I answer first?
Baby, big or small, I was packing. You hear me? He waited on this coochie from 9th grade until freshman year of college. Okay, let me tell you something about this coochie.
So you gonna wake up my kids.
Let me tell you something about this coochie. It's all for him, but baby, big or small, I got the juice. Okay, right, I got the juice. That's it. That's all.
So
but y'all, I was toxic for real.
You were toxic.
I was toxic as hell.
Shit, I'm talking about right here.
Okay, bye. For real.
She said, "OMG, I love her." Don't encourage that. Damn, she threw me off. All right. Yes, she was toxic. But we both were. Again, it goes back. If you've been rocking with me from the first of this live, yes. I had to own my slice of the pie in that toxicity as well, because I was healing. I was not healed. I'm not completely healed now. I'm finding out that I'm very stubborn in a lot of little things, and it irks me because I react to little things, and I want to get past that. But regardless of the point, to speak about Britnee, she was toxic in a way, in a manner of reacting to a lot of things. You got to understand, we had our kids young. Having kids young can put you in a place financially that you're not prepared for, regardless if you have money or not. I don't care who you are. You can be Oprah rich, you can be Diddy rich. Having children takes out a lot emotionally. You're going to spend something, whether that's your finances, your energy. And for a while after having our son, we had to do what we had to do. And we was coming from a place of being kids with a kid. All right. So one thing led to the next. We found ourselves living with her mom in one bedroom. Now, mind you, her mom lives like in what most of us consider a mansion, 3 floors, about 7 bedrooms. But we found ourselves in one bedroom. There was one bedroom and a bathroom. So it was our living room. It was our kitchen. It was our bathroom. It was our play area. It was our office. My office was the bathroom. When everybody was sleeping in the room, I went to the bathroom to do work. So in that space, it does a lot of things psychologically. Mind you, we did that for 5 years and even introduced a new child in that house for another 2 years. My son did 3, my daughter did 2 years in there. Together, we all did 5 years in that house. So that was when a lot of the toxicity caught up to both of us. In that time frame, it was like a sink or swim. At least with me, I had a paradigm shift where I said, somebody has to be the change. Somebody had to be the example, or we're going to die in here. It felt like that. It really felt like we were suffocating financially. Britnee was suffocating physically. Me, I was suffocating emotionally because I couldn't speak up the way that I wanted to in the times that she would react. She would have blow-ups in front of the children sometimes. We would literally be arguing while holding and rocking a baby to sleep, arguing at the top of our lungs. Why is a child asleep? Why do they find comfort in the fact that, we're having an argument? And those type of things added up so much so where I had a pivot in my paradigm, call it divine intervention, but I had a pivot, and it was like a night and day switch where I dove into personal development. I dove into just trying to better myself in any way, shape, or form, because I needed to be the example on not only us getting out of that situation, but us getting out of this cage in our mind. Mentally, we both were behind a cage. If you ever seen Get Out, we were in a sunken place, to put it like that. So I became that example with the personal development, with being more spiritual, showing up to church in that time frame, and also being an example, like going to the park just to walk, to not only clear our head, but to introduce physical activity, because at the time Britnee was struggling with her weight. So like I said, that paradigm shift just kind of led on to her picking it up, because she started to see that I was kind of drifting mentally, or drifting because I was ascending, like in my knowledge. Like I would come back and tell her things that I learned, like, yo, you can manage your emotions like this. Why don't we try this exercise? Why don't we write our affirmations down, hang it up, and say it 3 times before we go to sleep and 3 times when we wake up to start our day off? Why don't we meditate? Doing little things like that over time finally, sprouted that seed. And now here we are, just kind of living in our desires. No, everything isn't peachy perfect. If you've been watching Britnee page, if y'all haven't, go to Britnee page. She's doing a Lucky Girl series right now for all my girls, or all the women watching. Go to Britnee with Love once we're finished on TikTok and watch the Lucky Girl series, because we don't hold back. We're very transparent in our lives, our marriage, our finances, because we understand that we're vessels. Like, we took that oath in the bathroom. Like I was mentioning, like the kids were asleep. It was pitch black, dark, and we took an oath. We held hands and prayed and asked to be vessels. And for that, now it's produced Happily Ever Alpha, as you know, but it took some time to get here because the maturation had to happen on both our parts. So the reason that I stayed, to go back to this question, how did you perceive her as toxic? I perceived her as toxic because she was reacting. She was reacting in situations where she needed to respond, especially to the children. Like, kids are kids, right? And they do kid things. And to react to what kids do because they're kids is just like, got it. So once it got to that point where we were all being silenced and suppressed, it was time for that toxic cycle to end, like halt. Because like I said, I really felt like we were going to end up dying inside there. And I stayed because one of our chemistry, it had nothing to do with our kids. I don't understand why people always like, y'all had kids. Stop capping. That's why you stayed. I was gonna marry her regardless if we had kids or not. Like, at a point, I was like, this is mine, and I'm cool with that because I've devoted my life to building with her. So it had nothing to do with kids. I was not there for that. But it did aid in a reason why I stayed. I didn't want my son to grow up where he had to be in a co-parent situation or see mommy and daddy on different times during the week. So that, of course, aided to the fact why I stayed. But I also knew that she was capable of so much more because she was able to help so many people around her. If you know Britnee personally, you know that she, at that time, like, you had to know her to get under her skin so you can see that dragon side of her. But more so than anything, everybody knows that Britnee has like one of the biggest hearts. She will take off her clothes for a homeless person right there if they say, hey, I like your shirt. She's done it before. She grew up with Gucci's and labels and all of these things that people will say, hey, I want this. And she gave it to them, trash bags full. Here. That's always been her. That's always been her character. She is the reason that I'm able to love as loudly as I do now, back to her and back to everybody that I come in contact with. Like, she trekked that path. She was that example. How I was saying I was the example. So I knew that was there. And it just took a change of paradigm, at least for me, to be able to say, I'm going to stick with this so that she can change her paradigm and remember who she really is. Because what you showing me on the exterior right now is literally your flesh. Like, it was obvious that she was acting out of her flesh. So even though there were a lot of times where I wanted to snap back, react, thank God I was doing my personal development, because had I not, we probably would have been divorced and been in a bad situation. This platform probably never would have birthed. So yes, I stayed. We both went through some toxic times. In college, I gave her the brood of toxicity. I was bad. I was Stevie J out here. Ain't gonna lie. I was feeling myself.
Was worse.
I was not worse than Stevie J. I came close. So not that bad.
You was in the neighborhood.
I was in the neighborhood. Yeah, I saw his home. So again, I will always take accountability for my actions and what I've done. No, I don't feel like I'm in this out of guilt or out of debt or like I owe something to her. No, we both in this together, and it takes us both being mature to know like where we need to grow. Same for you in your relationship. Take accountability in the places where you know you need to grow. And if you're the one that's toxic, I think people know, especially women, like y'all are very bright. Y'all are very intelligent. Just offer it. Like I can attest to that because I have a daughter now. Like I see when they say 3 going on 30, I see that now, especially with women. Like my son, he's just, what's up? School was good. Can I go play on my computer? My daughter, no, she's going to walk the whole day through. And she has the human interactions. And it's like, you've been here before. So women, I know y'all smart. When it comes to the whole toxic thing, y'all know what y'all doing. Y'all play the games. We play games, but not as much as y'all. We're not as calculated. Y'all. That's why y'all catch us in our lives very quickly. But please be adult enough to know that you are the problem in some areas in your relationship. If you have to write it down on paper, like the pros and cons about you, or why don't you and your spouse or your significant other, y'all trade papers and write the pros and cons down of each other and give it back. And y'all really have a discussion on that. and be open-minded and respond to one another. And that is going to create some trust between each other where y'all can get to the root of some things. And I see a lot in relationships where people assume. I have a bad habit of doing that still. Well, I don't even want to call it a habit because that's bringing attention to it and energy that's not even there. Sometimes my programming can recall habits of assuming, and that gets under her nerves. It gets under her skin so much so where she recognizes it and calls me on it, and it helps, reinforce the fact that there's no reason that I need to assume with her. We can be open and honest with each other, but until you guys get open and honest with each other, you're going to continue to assume, like, I can't come to her about this right now because, she just got off of work. I can't be asking her for no coochie and nothing like that. When she probably really want it. She probably do because she had a bad day and she's just trying to take it out on something, and you can be that something. But a lot of men assume in that respect when it comes to women, and women don't give us the opportunity to come to them. We kind of have to assume sometimes because they may be up and down because y'all haven't shown a habit of responding, because y'all up and down based on the environment of when you go out and you come back, you bring back everything to the relationship. And now you're bringing that into a place where your husband or your significant other has to walk on eggshells. So y'all both play a part in this. But women, I'm telling you, y'all can be the game changer in a relationship just off of responding and not assuming as well. Man, I hope I answered that well enough. I know I can get rambly. I can get real rambly, and that's why Britnee just let me have this tonight, because she already know how I can be. But I do want to open it up and answer maybe like 2 or 3 questions if y'all have any questions, and babe, I'm also inviting you in as well, because this is all good content. This is great information. We're not doing this for no payment. We're not doing this to gain followers. It's a great thing that you guys are following our story, and we asked for this. So hey, don't hesitate. Please don't hesitate. We are here for y'all in any way, shape, or form that we can be. But I'll continue to do these. And if you've asked a question and you're on this and I didn't address it, or I didn't give you what you were looking for, feel free to DM me or DM the page. I've been checking them a little bit more frequently now to see, like, do I need to address this publicly or do I need to address it privately? So if you are on here, you ask me a question and I haven't got to you, just give it time. I'm making my rounds. We put it out there and it's everywhere. It's on Facebook. It's on Instagram. It ain't even hit YouTube yet because YouTube is a different other beast. Mm-hmm.
But we love y'all. Yeah, we do.
We love y'all, and we're here for y'all. So if there's anybody that got a question, y'all can drop it here in the comments before we log off. Let me scroll up right here and see. Can I do that here? Man, y'all been rocking with me all night. That's what's up. I love y'all.
So sweet.
Thank you, everybody that has joined. I need him to talk to you. We are losing our black men because they felt how you did. Mm-hmm. Man, black men. Oh, I hate to see it. We silenced in so many ways that we don't even recognize.
Well, that's a good thing to talk about. Silencing black men.
Silencing black men.
Y'all, listen. I'm just here for a moment. I think coming from the woman that was toxic, I knew the whole time that I was toxic. I led with toxicity, and it was because I was miserable. And I think I literally just posted something about this in the caption on a post that we put up on our actual Instagram page. I was not oblivious to my toxicity. And that's what makes it even worse now. Being on the conscious side, or the aware side, yeah. I should say, because I knew better. But because I was miserable, I just didn't care. And I didn't realize the magnitude of me not caring, how toxic that really was. And me being the very outspoken, very bullheaded, y'all know I'm a Taurus. And don't do that. I was very much so operating in my Taurusness. And I was raised by a Gemini solely. My mom is a Gemini and my dad is a Sagittarius. So you can only imagine my life. And my dad is a Q, okay? So you can only, and both of my parents are from New York.
Stop right there.
Both of my parents are from New York. My mother is from Queens. My dad is Caribbean. Please don't tell me I don't have childhood trauma. Please don't. Because I just told you the quick and easy recipe for childhood trauma.
Thanks.
New York, Caribbean, Gemini,
said,
Sagittarius. Y'all go look at your birth charts, go look at all that stuff, and then come back and tell me that I am not struggling with childhood trauma, okay? Right. I love my parents, but anyways. All of that being said, I was very bullheaded. And one of the things that truly made me realize that I wasn't being the best wife was watching how my husband carried himself in rooms with other people. I noticed that he used his looks, he used his height to lead things, but he never had nothing coming out his mouth. And it was because I was always the mouthpiece. I was always the person that was talking for him, because I'm like, babe, shut up. You sound stupid. Let me do it. And it kind of hindered him from expanding his voice, from using his voice, even to me, because I was like, I don't want to hear none of that. You're an idiot. You didn't even go to school. You didn't do this. I'm smarter than you. Y'all think this is a joke. This is literally how I used to talk to my husband. The man that literally retired me at 27 years old, has been busting his butt working to provide for us. And don't get me wrong, I would love to be with a white man who has all of this stuff already figured out. Every woman would. And he ain't even got to be white. He could be black. He could be anything. Everybody wants to be with somebody who's going to take care of them financially. But that part to me was not important. I needed somebody to be careful and tender with my emotions, okay? So that part of me that loved the material things, that loved that man to bring that stuff, I had to grow up. And that, because I felt like at the time he could not be that man for me. He couldn't be that white luxury man to give me my desires, because he was only giving me pennies at the time. It made me feel like, okay, he's not even valuing me as a person. But the whole time he was doing his self-work. The whole time he was developing, personally developing. He was getting himself together. He was educating himself financially. He was educating himself about trust funds. He was educating himself about credit. He was educating himself about life insurance. He was educating himself about how to be a leader within his marriage and within his family. He was literally educating himself while I was sitting there yelling at him, silencing him, and making him feel small. He was sitting there educating. He was building up our son behind closed doors. So our son understood, yes, mommy loves you. Yes, she's a little bit off, but we're going to figure out how to maneuver and be strong men without feeling silent. And it took me a really long time to realize that this man loved me deep enough to say, you know what, you're acting like you don't have no sense, like your mama didn't raise you to have sense and to treat people with respect, because you can give homeless people stuff off your back, but you can't respect me as your man. You know what, I'm gonna come to you a different way. I'm gonna come to your intellect. I'm gonna come to your emotion. I'm gonna meet you where you are. I'm gonna come off my man pedestal and meet you where you are emotionally. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna listen to you. I'm gonna kill it with kindness. That's literally what he did. Moments when I was rah-rah, he was like, okay, babe, you got it.
Yeah.
No worries. No worries. Oh, I got you. He was like, no worries. And that made me get it together, because I realized that I cannot silence this man anymore. I have to be silent, because he's developing his voice behind closed doors. And when I started to hear that voice come out after silencing him for so long, it really made me pivot myself as a woman. And it made me want to be the quiet one. So we've switched roles. I'm the quiet one. Yeah. I'm real quiet now. I'm like, no, babe, you go ahead and you do that. Like when we're in brand meetings, I'm like, no, you go ahead and talk. I'm gonna be quiet, because I love listening to this man talk. That's why he's leading y'all in this live, because he has a lot to say. And we as women that are very strong and bullheaded and alpha female have to know when to stand down. We have to know when to stand out, because these black men gonna get sick of us, okay? They gonna get sick of us, and then we gonna be out here looking like Tina Turner, okay? Y'all need to calm down, and you need to understand when you've done too much. Right. We need to learn how to stand down sometimes, because these black men are sick of it. They're healing too. They're traumatized too. And we have to know how, yes, black men need to protect us, but we have to protect them. And not just from police, not just from society, but we have to protect their heart. We have to protect their voice. We have to protect their intellect. We have to protect them just as hard as they need to, and